This video is going to be explaining as well as defining the appropriate terms in the topic of evolution and science. Unfortunately, many other debates, if not all of them that I've seen, do not properly define these terms, resulting in confusion, false conclusions, false assumptions, and phony theories. These terms must be properly defined and explained, so that would erase the confusion and conclude with proper theories. Kent Hovind and every single one of his opponents that I've seen in these debates thoroughly have completely failed to properly define terms like relate, relation, etc. So I will properly define these terms and show you why both sides failed miserably. The narration of the notes shall be done by Sir Walter. Hope you all enjoy the video.
Well, two things I'd like to get out of him is exactly what you mean by that word evolution. Do you mean bananas and elephants are related and came from a common ancestor?
Yeah, they're both eukaryotes, yeah.
Okay, and bowling balls and whales are both attracted by gravity, so they got to be related. They're both attracted by gravity.
No, that doesn't follow at all.
Physical science, gravity attracts whales and bowling balls. I can promise you it does.
Okay, that doesn't mean they're related. I mean, again, we're talking about if Genesis is compatible. Why are you trying to jump on something that's not the topic?
Evolution says fish and bananas are related.
That is a different... Look, notice the semantic shift you did there, the semantic shift. You said proves after their own kind, and then you had a semantic shift to are they related? Notice the semantic shift. They're both eukaryotes. So they're both vertebrates. They're both go back to tetrapods.
I can show you hundreds of biology textbooks where they show charts with all the lines connected with fish, bananas, whales, birds, everything back to a common ancestor. Do you believe those charts?
I do believe, yes, there is a common eukaryote ancestor there.
Okay, so this common eukaryote ancestor was neither fish nor bird, and it produced something that became fish and bird, so it no longer produced after its kind, did it?
No, that's not what it says. This is a slow generation changes. These are changes in species, populations within species, for example. Again, you're misinterpreting the entire what evolution actually says.
I'm nailing it right on the head. You know it. I'm nailing it right on the head.
Now, Dave, let me make it very simple for you. You like to make things simple. This chart shows humans and mosquitoes coming from a protista. Did the dog come from a protista? If it wasn't an amoeba,
I'm sorry. You already did this 9 times. You can say all animals and all plants.
You're not answering the question. Dave, you're not answering the question.
You're just asking the same question 18 times. You can say
the dog
and then anything you want. Yes, they're all related. The answer is yes.
Okay, good, fine. So the dog, I'm trying to make a point here now, Dave. The dog came from a protista, and a protista is not a dog. So you said that I will always say dogs produce dogs, and you say that's not what science says. That's not what evolution says. Of course, dogs always produce dogs.
Eukaryotes?
Well, then why didn't Dave? Why didn't the protista keep producing protista? Somehow it produced a human on this chart.
Did you not know that there are many protists in the world?
Yes. Do you not know that they have lines on this paper connecting the people to the protista?
So
Do you see the lines on the paper, son? They connected a line from a human to a protista.
Yeah,
Somewhere
all
along
I'm
the line,
hearing
the
from you is
protista
that you
produced a
don't understand it,
non-protista.
so it's not true. Why is that not true? You're just saying that you don't understand it, so it's not true. What's the point?
I don't understand it, so it's not true. I don't believe this for a sec. I think all of them use the same basic 26 letters. Whoa. Does that prove they're related, or does that prove that's the code with which you write English, 26 letters? So I think you're seeing something that's true, similarities in genetics, and you're coming to the wrong conclusion with the truth that you're given. I'll give an example here real quickly. I meant to get that ready. Well, anyway, so I agree there's a lot of similarities in the DNA, and there's been a lot of research done on that to try to show some kind of relatedness. If there are similar bones in the forelimb of animals, which there are, does that prove they're related, or does that prove that's a good design? I think I could go to just about any parking lot and show you all the cars have round tires. Does that prove a relationship, or is it because that's a design that works? Yeah, and I bet they have shock absorbers and a suspension system and a windshield. And I think all of them have some similarities because it's a design that works. It's necessary to have these features to drive a car. You have to have a steering system, be able to turn it. Not just drive it, but you got to steer it and turn it. A protection from the environment system, a car, a body of some kind. So what you're saying is true, your conclusion is wrong. That's my point. It's
So
common design.
I'm totally with you on the card thing. Totally with you on the comparisons that you can make between books, languages, these kinds of things.
Oh wait, Erica, we can't hear you at all now.
Oh no, can you hear me?
Now it's back.
Oh, okay. Must have just cut out there. Okay, can you hear me still?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So let me put it another way. Let's say my mother and I both gave our genetic sample to a sequencer. They sequenced both of our entire genomes. They would find that they are probably 99.999% similar because she's my mother. You do the same thing with my grandmother, and it'd probably be very close. Not quite as close as with my mother, but still pretty close. So by your logic, though, that would be saying, okay, well, it's just a common designer. I'm not actually related to her. It's just a common designer. But my point is that when you have similar genetics, that necessitates relatedness. Yeah, there is a common design. I'm comfortable saying that between humans and chimpanzees. We look very similar. Our skeletons are very similar. Both of us use tools. Both of us have compassion. Both of us are warlike. But when you're looking at the genetics, you can't, I don't think, that you can draw that line and say, okay, well, when you're comparing the genome between me and my mother, that means it's relatedness. But when you're comparing the genome between me and a chimpanzee, no, that's where it stops. So you need something empirical to say, this is why we draw the line here. And, while I respect your opinion, and I think that, from a faith-based standpoint, you want to say, yeah, that's my reason, that's cool, but I don't think that stands as an empirical sort of line of thought.
Part 1, Definitions. 1. Evolution, Google, the process by which different kinds of living organisms are thought to have developed and diversified from earlier forms during the history of the Earth. The gradual development of something, especially from a simple to a more complex form. Webster's 1828. Because definitions 2 and 3 involve mathematics and 4 is a military tactic term, I will only give the first definition which relates to the topic study. The act of unfolding or unrolling. A series of things unrolled or unfolded, as the evolution of ages. Evolution simply means, different living organisms or beings changed from earlier forms in history. 2. Natural selection. National Geographic Society. Natural selection is the process through which populations of living organisms adapt and change. Individuals in a population are naturally variable, meaning that they are all different in some ways. These individuals then pass the adaptive traits on to their offspring. Natural selection simply means, the adaptation to life in various surroundings in strengths and weaknesses that are passed on to offspring or the next generation. 3. Eukaryote. At Briannica.com here's the definition. Eukaryote, any cell or organism that possesses a clearly defined nucleus. The eukaryotic cell has a nuclear membrane that surrounds the nucleus, in which the well-defined chromosomes, bodies containing the hereditary material, are located. Eukaryote basically means, any cell with a defined nucleus with a membrane surrounding it with chromosomes. 4. Relation? From Webster/Merriam and Webster's 1828 dictionary it simply means, in context of the topic, an aspect or quality, like time and space, having resemblance that work together. Someone connected by consanguinity, kindred as related to parents and children, reproduction through sexual intercourse. Resemblance in geometry, ratio or proportion. Dimensions, looks, or features. The word consanguinity is found and means, Webster's 1828, the relation of persons by blood, the relation or connection of persons descended from the same stock or common ancestor, in distinction from affinity or relation by marriage. It is lineal or collateral. Consanguinity simply means, relation by blood of connected persons descended from the same common ancestor and by marriage. 5. Common ancestry. Groups.mulbiashi.northwestern.edu Biology Glossary Search by everythingbio.com. The state of two individuals when they are blood relatives. When two parents have a common ancestor, their offspring will be inbred. Common ancestry simply means, at least two beings as blood relatives, like two parents will have offspring. 6. Science, Webster's 1828, science is basically, to know by facts. Operates from known truths in experiment and observation, which functions from the branches of knowledge, grammar, logic, rhetoric, arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, and music. 7. Logic, Webster's 1828, basically logic is the art of thinking and reasoning justly and correctly. Logic functions by facts, reality, and probability. 8. How did life begin? This source says, all life on Earth evolved from a single-celled organism that lived roughly 3.5 billion years ago, a new study seems to confirm. The study supports the widely held universal common ancestor theory first proposed by Charles Darwin more than 150 years ago. May 14, 2010 from nationalgeographic.com entitled, All Species Evolved from Single Cell, Study Finds 9. Kind, Webster's 1828, from the many definitions, I will provide the ones that stay in context with the topic. Race, genus, generic class, as in mankind or humankind. In technical language, kind answers to genus. Some synonyms for the word genus are species, family, sort, etc. The word kind basically means different forms of life on Earth, plants, animals, and humans. This word is used in this context in the Bible, Genesis 1 for example, see Genesis 1:11-12, 1:21, 24-25. 10. Species, Webster's 1828, from the many definitions, I will provide the summary definition in context with the topic. A species is basically a group of organized genus or life, plants, or animals, or humans, by differences, yet with limited variations. For example, like many different kinds of plants, animals, and people. By animals, for example, like the differences of the cat family and dog family, yet many different kinds of cats and dogs in their own circle. Part 2, Logical look. Since science means to know by facts, by known truths in experiment, observation and logic, then science can answer everything in reality that we observe. Also, since logic means correct and thinking, and since logic functions under facts, reality, and probability, then logic is the only way to approach life to maintain your sanity. So let's look at the science behind these terms and accept them for they really say. 1. Evolution simply means, different living organisms or beings changed from earlier forms in history. Does this definition have anything to do with animals turning into another kind of animal over time? No. Does this mean that we human beings evolved from an animal-like being millions of years ago? No. All this definition claims is that different living beings, at least organisms, are changed in different forms from years ago in history. That happens. We see differing kinds of dogs, cats, butterflies, etc. What we never see, which this definition never claims, is a change from one kind to an entirely different kind of animal. Logic, fact, there is no existing record of human recorded history in direct observation of one animal changed to a totally different kind of animal. Reality, nobody today has ever seen that happen as on record. Probability, it is logical nonsense to believe it could or did happen millions of years ago. 2. Natural selection simply means, the adaptation to life in various surroundings in strengths and weaknesses that are passed on to offspring or the next generation. Does natural selection have anything to do with creating anything? No. It is directly observed from scientific evidence that there are differences in strengths and weaknesses passed down to offspring over the generations in animals of different kinds. Logic, fact, we do see, that is through scientific research and evidence, that the stronger animals of more dominant strengths than weaknesses survive. And the weaker animals in that particular kind don't. It's called survival of the fittest. Reality, watching documentaries on the animal kingdom for hunting and survival, we can see through documentation that natural selection exists and works. Since no evidence exists of natural selection creating anything in of itself, then it is not a creative force. There may be new information added that may enable the animal to have more strength or endurance than others. But that's not creating any new being in of itself, as in a zebra growing wings to fly. That never happens. Probability, therefore, for the chances of, for example, the theory of a cow evolving to a whale, is not logical at all to accept. That may be a theory, but a stupid one at that. That's like I can make a theory that sharks used to fly in the air as an eagle. But it evolved to a sea-dwelling fish. Do we see that happening today? No. So it is illogical and not probable to believe such a theory. 3. Eukaryote basically means any cell with a defined nucleus with a membrane surrounding it with chromosomes. Just because human beings may be put into a circle of similarities to others as eukaryotes does that proof actually that we evolved from those others in the circle? No. It just proves we are similar, not directly begat from. From Google search source, what are 3 examples of eukaryotes? Organisms such as animals, plants, fungi, and protists are examples of eukaryotes because their cells are organized into compartmentalized structures called organelles, such as the nucleus. February 26, 2021 from biologyonline.com entitled, Eukaryote, Definition and Examples, Biology Online Dictionary. Does that prove we directly evolved from these things listed? No. Is that mean that we all evolved from one main cell? No. That is only a theory, not fact. Logic, fact, does that prove we directly evolved from these things listed? No. Is that mean that we all evolved from one main cell? No. That is only a theory, not fact. Reality, nobody today, if they were honest, observes one cell diversifying to multiple cells evolving to many different animals, plants, and humans. Probability, therefore it is illogical nonsense to believe such a theory. 4. Relation simply means, in context of the topic, an aspect or quality, like time and space, having resemblance that work together. Someone connected by consanguinity, kindred as related to parents and children, reproduction through sexual intercourse. Resemblance in geometry, ratio or proportion. Dimensions, looks, or features. Consanguinity simply means, relation by blood of connected persons descended from the same common ancestor and by marriage. Creationists and evolutionists fail to admit the multiple definitions of the word relation, resulting in evolutionists stating that we all should be related to each other, but fail to notify which definition they are referring to. Do we have similarity with other animals regarding aspect or quality, hands and feet being different yet working together? Yes. Do we have similarity with some other animals in geometry, ratio, proportion, dimensions, looks, or features, hands, feet, body structure, color, blood, etc.? Yes. Do we have similarity with other animals by consanguinity, kindred as related to parents and children? Yes, but only regarding most other animals have related beings to themselves. Like the multiple kinds of dogs being related to each other through parents and kindred. No, regarding we do not look like any animal. Nor does any animal kind look like another animal kind, as in having the same parents or kindred. Do we have similarity with other animals by reproduction through sexual intercourse? Yes, but only regarding most other animals reproducing among themselves in their kind. No, regarding we cannot reproduce with any animal. Nor can any animal kind produce with any other animal kind. Logic, fact, being in relation to the animal kingdom has limitations. Reality, no 100% relation between humans and the animal kingdom. Probability, the theory that we came from animal-like beings or from a single-cell common ancestor is illogical nonsense and not probable. No single-cell organism today can diversify into multiple cells creating different life forms. That has never been observed by any source written by man. Conclusion? Problem solved. Now that we see the word related, relation, relates defined and properly explained, we know that we did not all come from one amoeba, nor do we come from all the same character point that slowly evolved over millions of years. That has never been observed, so it's illogical to believe such fairy tale nonsense.